Where does one find God? In Bend, there are beautiful buildings with crosses on top, and certainly some do come to the Lord there. Yet more and more we see these buildings torn down or renovated. A church building by my house is now a pizza parlor, and the pizza's pretty good. Bend is also a land of ancient volcanic explosions that form sweeping landscapes of lava flows and buttes and waterfalls, natural boundaries in the earth where channels of rock and water cascade around each other. Men may have built churches, but the Creator built the mountains, things we could never match. A theme emerges from the community when meeting wanderers on the mountain trails. Hikers claim that the outdoors are their church. They've come to feel closer to God there. After all, how could a building compare to the splendor of God's creation? This wanderlust that we all possess inside. I think about it whenever I'm marveling at the mountains or I come to a beautiful cascading waterfall, a natural boundary that God has formed, and I think about Paul's words. He speaks to searchers and wanderers in Acts 17. The men of Athens are worshiping statue after statue of gods and goddesses, debating philosophy in temple after temple, even giving praise to an unknown God. Paul takes the opportunity to tell them about the God they do not know and where they can find him. In Acts 17 it says, Paul then stood up in the meeting of the Areopagus and said, "People of Athens, I see that in every way you are very religious. For as I walked around and looked carefully at your objects of worship, I even found an altar with this inscription, 'To an unknown God.' So you are ignorant of the very thing you worship, and this is what I am going to proclaim to you. The God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of heaven and earth, and does not live in temples built by human hands. And he is not served by human hands, as if he needed anything. Rather, he himself gives everyone life and breath and everything else. From one man he made all the nations, that they should inhabit the whole earth. And he marked out their appointed times in history and the boundaries of their lands. God did this so that they would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from any one of us." Whether you're in a building or out in nature, wherever your church is, God isn't far from any one of us. He made it all. He set the nations and natural boundaries into motion, every river, every rock flow, all so that we may look up and wonder and perhaps seek him. Though he arranges the opportunity, he gives us the choice. He's not far from any one of us if we decide to reach out. So where do you find God? He's as close as your next breath. He's in the forest. He's in the temple. He's exactly where and when you'll find him if you choose, if you seek him with all your heart. I was on a bench after a season of prayer and wanting to connect with God all summer long. It was my first day setting foot on my new college campus. I had just moved into my apartment, and a Christian just happened to walk by and asked if I wanted to talk about the Bible. That began a search, or reaching out for a relationship with God that I hadn't had before, and God reaching right back through his word to me. God determined the time and place, and my life changed forever. If you're looking for where to find God, I encourage you to start where I started, by seeking him through his word. That's how God talks to us. When seeking God, don't worship buildings or nature like the people of Athens did in Acts 17. Paul tells them that they're seeking after all of these statues and buildings and nature, but they're really trying to find God, the creator of the universe. If you're looking for where to find God, then I encourage you to start where I started. To have a relationship, you need communication. You need to talk to form a friendship. It's through God's word that he communicates with us, that we can talk with him, that we can learn from him and how to build that relationship. So I encourage you to get a Bible, get into the word, and to find out more on how to start a relationship with God, please watch the rest of our Seeking God videos and our Nature Parables series. Thank you.